Chapter 15. Caught Lying. What to do.
In front of the mirror in his room, Thato holds his cell phone, reciting lyrics he has typed into a document app. Speaking with such emphasis and force, his mom knocks on the door to see what's going on. Thato unlocks the door and lets her in, explaining that he's working on his rap for English class. She tells him that's fine, but reminds him to finish the environmental project they had worked on together. Thato, already prepared to hand in the project, gives it to his mom for review. She smiles at her son, takes the paper, and encourages him to carry on by playfully saying, "Yo, check this out," as though she were rapping. This prompts a "yeah, right" response from Thato. The next morning, Zuri places a bowl of fruit next to her husband's plate of bacon, eggs, toast, and grits. Her son, humming some lyrics with his headphones on, comes down the hall, rapping, creating the stories, whether false or true. He sees his family and sits down in his spot at the table, continuing to hum before saying, "Remember, not all tall people can play basketball." His parents look confused by his rap, but provide a supportive smile. His mother indicates for him to take his headphones off while they eat breakfast. Zuri informs her son that she reviewed his English paper and says it is very good. She adds that she is proud of him for doing extra work for the class by writing the paper and working on his rap. His father gives him a pat on the back. After finishing his meal, Thato takes his plate to the sink, grabs his backpack, and heads towards the door to catch the school bus. His mom calls out, gives him a hug, and in her best rap voice says, "Remember, not all tall people can play basketball." Tommy joins in, repeating the phrase, and they continue until they thoroughly embarrass themselves. Thato adjusts his book bag, looks at his parents, grins, and says, Please stop. I beg of you both to please stop. Seriously." His parents look at each other and burst out laughing as they return to the kitchen. The bell rang at the end of English class. Students hurried out of the classroom while Thato lingered, pulling his English paper from his book bag. He approached his teacher and handed her his completed final project on global warming. She looked at him confused, noting he still had a couple of weeks to finish it. She questioned whether he had used ChatGPT to write the paper. That explained that his mother, a science teacher, had helped him with the research. The teacher skimmed through the paper, noting that everything seemed in order, including the bibliography at the back. She said she would review it and get back to him. That also informed her that he wanted to do a rap in addition to the project. She smiled, pleased that he was going the extra mile. That zipped up his backpack and headed to the cafeteria for lunch. Since learning how to make his own lunch at his grandparents' house, Thato always brought his lunch to school. He just needed to get in line for a bottled water. While waiting in line, his crush approached him and asked if he wanted to hang out with a group after school. When he asked what they would be doing, she said they would just be talking and listening to music. Thato thought it was a good idea, remembering his dad's advice to get to know people, especially his crush. However, he responded that he would have to think about it. She insisted, suggesting he tell his parents that he was going to play basketball and then just hang out instead. Again, he said he would let her know. Thato didn't want to lie to his parents about his whereabouts, but also wanted to get to know his crush better. He drafted a text to his parents, saying he was staying after school and would take the activity bus, copying his grandparents on the text, but not sending it. Throughout the rest of the school day, he vacillated about whether to send the text or not. While walking to his locker at the end of the day, he saw his crush. She glanced at his phone and with a smile hit the send button for him. The after-school gathering consisted of 7 young teenagers. They walked around the school and then ventured a few blocks into a nearby neighborhood. As they strolled, some chatted while others played on their electronic devices. Thato and his crush initially bonded over funny videos, but Thato soon found common ground with the gamers on their Switches. Meanwhile, his crush joined the girls in conversations about makeup and boys. Eventually, the group arrived at one of their homes, where they were greeted by the young mother of one of the teenagers. Despite being in her early 30s, she could easily pass for a student. She was barefoot and wore ripped jeans, a revealing top, with her hair in a messy bun. The teenagers headed to the basement, where some older high school students were present along with beer and marijuana. When Thato realized some of his peers were starting to use the substances, he knew it was time to leave. Unfortunately, Thato wasn't where he had told his parents or grandparents he would be, and he wasn't sure of his exact location. He considered talking to the mother of the house, but realized she wasn't reliable, as she was serving alcohol and drugs to minors. He searched through his bag for his cell phone, trying to figure out what to text his grandparents since his parents were at work. As he scrolled through the few contacts in his list, he spotted his uncle Brandon. He quickly texted his uncle, letting him know that he was somewhere within walking distance of the school. Luckily, Brandon was able to use the Find Me feature on the phone to pinpoint his nephew's location. Brandon parked his Nissan around the corner from the house and texted his nephew to let him know he was waiting outside. 5 minutes passed, and he still didn't see his nephew. Growing impatient, he texted Thato again, asking what was taking so long. Thato replied that he was trying to figure out a cool way to leave the party. Frustrated, Brandon told him, "Just get up, say I'm out in a firm voice, and walk out." Moments later, Thato was heading to the corner and getting into his uncle's car. Giving a fist bump to his uncle, Thato was relieved. His uncle insisted that he should always know where he is going and not walk around aimlessly. As Brandon spoke those words out loud to his nephew, he felt as though he was speaking to himself more so than Thato. Thato agreed and promised to be more careful. As they drove, Thato tried to convince Brandon not to tell his mother that he was not where he was supposed to be. Uncle Brandon left that up in the air for now, as he dropped his nephew off in front of his sister's house.
Should Brandon tell his sister Zuri about Thato's lying? Why or why not? In the comments below, let us know your thoughts. Please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.